Let's talk about sample size for studies with multiple arms. And let's give an example so that we can understand what we're talking about. Imagine we're doing a study to look at the effectiveness of e-cigarette use on smoking cessation. And in our study, we have three groups of smokers who are trying to quit. The first group is smokers who are using only e-cigarettes to try and quit. The second is smokers who are using smoking cessation medication, nicotine replacement therapy, to try and quit smoking. And the third group is smokers who are trying to quit on their own without using anything. We call that cold turkey, by the way. So we have these three groups of smokers, and our study is to see whether the use of e-cigarettes is associated with higher rates of quitting compared to using cold turkey and using medication. So our priority in this study, therefore, is to make sure that we have enough people in each of those three arms so that we can detect any differences that might exist. Because if we have just very few people and our study is not equipped to detect any differences, we might come out at the end of our study and say, hey, no differences exist. Whereas in effect, what our study was lacking was the ability to detect those differences. We call that a type 2 statistical error, meaning that you have a false negative result. So then it becomes very important that to make sure that your study has enough people in each of those arms of your study so that you can be able to detect differences if they exist. So that's why it's very important to make sure that when you have multiple arms in your study, you have enough sample size. Another reason or another consideration is the possibility for multiple comparisons in the context of a multi-arm study. So you might, for example, want to compare those on nicotine replacement therapy with those on e-cigarettes, and then those on e-cigarette with those who are on cold turkey, and so on and so forth. So it's not just one set of comparisons you might be doing. You might be having multiple comparisons. So you want to account for those things too in your sample size calculation. The Chisquares platform allows you to do all of these things seamlessly. So if your study involves multiple arms, the Chisquares platform has a sample size calculator that is built specifically for studies with 3 or more arms. And so this allows you to make sure that your study is sufficiently powered so that you can avoid errors like type 2 error or false negative results.